So the next show is Dungeon for short.
Yeah, it's good, because we'd be here a while if you try to do the whole thing.
Or, as Amazon calls it, Sword Oratoria, Season 1.
It's just this weird.
So Dungeon, yes, Dungeon is back.
It's back, but it's kind of not back.
So
horrible.
I was ready to jump back into the story, and what we've done is we've jumped back to the beginning of the first season.
Yeah.
Instead of following the guy or following the Sword Princess.
I thought that we were going to go like further back. Like, I thought we were going to go like way far back, and that we wouldn't have caught up to where we were in season 1 at the beginning until like towards the end of this season. So then it would catch up. So I thought I want to know. Okay, it's like, if you're gonna do this, okay, fine. Then I want to know more about her.
Yeah, the origins.
Iris Wallenstein. I want to know how she became who she is. Where did she get all this power from? And then in the first episode, they allude to the fact that there's something not quite right with her. That there's something terribly wrong, and yet she perseveres no matter what and does what she does, which I think is cool. But you kind of pushed it in there. You made it to where you had it in there, and then everyone's just scratching their heads going, why? Well, what? It's just because you've seen her. You've seen what she can do, and you're like, okay, this seems monumental and huge and big, and we haven't really seen a problem with her throughout the entire first season. So what's the big deal? It's just more annoying than anything else.
So I'm liking the characters that they have around them. One thing,
like them from the first season.
yeah. One thing that is a cliche in anime that this show is doing that some of the other shows this season are not doing is just focusing on boob jokes for a while. They just keep referring to it over and over and over. And for me, I'm like, I don't care. Can we fight some demons or whatever?
Let's get back to the good stuff here. Let's get rid of the boob jokes here.
Yeah. So I don't remember if they did that a lot in the first series, but I don't know. It's
I think they made a little bit of reference to it just because Hestia made the reference because
she's so small, she makes up for it in a different way, I guess.
Yeah, she made some references because she was all jealous of Iris Wallenstein taking the
attention of the other guy.
Yeah. So it's but I mean, even then, okay, I will say, as annoyed as I am the fact that we're not continuing season 2, an actual season 2 of continuation in the actual series, it is interesting to see the things from a different perspective, because you didn't quite get when in the very beginning of the first season, when he first met Iris Wallenstein, you kind of thought that she helped him and then kind of took pity on him and then was like, are you okay, whatever. And then but when you finally get to that point, when you finally catch back up to where it started in season 1, you see there was actually there was a little bit more emotion there. There was actually she was trying, she felt something, I want to say, and yet she could not convey that. So it's interesting. This is what's interesting about seeing things from a different perspective, is you get more information, and it's almost like fine tuning what you already know. Yeah. So that to me is interesting, and the only problem is we all know is Iris does not talk a lot. Yeah. She is a person of very few words, but that is kind of the charm of her. So I'm hoping that we have a little bit more internal monologue, at least, because it can be a little bit confusing sometimes to kind of gauge what more is going on when all you're doing is seeing someone who's pretty much mute standing there doing whatever, and you're like, okay, why? So I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I'm on the fence about it, and I don't want to be. I like Dungeon. Dungeon's awesome, but it's just so much. We're just like, I guess I don't know. Maybe the fact that it's not season 2 is blinding me to the niceness of this. Where they're saying it's Dungeon 2, and it's like, no, it's not. It's not. Dungeon prequel, essentially. Dungeon,
Dungeon 1. Yes, Dungeon 1.5, like Lion King 1.5.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah. Or didn't they do that with Evangelion too? It's like Evangelion 1.5 or something like that.
Well, they did a remake. They like telling the whole story and redo it.
But I mean, still, that's what it feels like. So I'm just, you only see what have they introduced maybe like 1 or 2 new characters that you never really saw in the actual other series, and everyone else is just like you were saying, like, oh, I like the characters. I'm like, yeah, because we've seen most of these characters. We know these characters. We've seen them in action. We know they're great. I like that you're getting a little bit more depth to them, because they weren't like the focus of them. Now you kind of see like what's her face, the twin has a thing for their commander. That was kind of like, oh, okay, cool, haha, funny. She's all bashful and everything with them, and whatnot. But anyways, it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's another one of those shows where it's like I'm waiting for it to get better.
Yeah, but I'll still watch. Like with if it was Baruch, I would wait. I would wait for, just like you were saying. I'd wait for a while, let it build up until we get to something more interesting. But I think the charm of this one is just like we were saying before, like I was saying before, because it's from a different perspective. You're gonna watch it because you're gonna see the different nuances.
Yeah.
And every episode, every scene that you remember from season 1 is going to be replayed, but now from a different perspective. So now the nuances and all the little things that you remember, you're going to see them differently.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it was really cool when the Minotaur showed up. Like, one of them just ran off, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird. And then she's like, oh, no, there's people over there. And I'm like, oh, that's where it came from.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That aspect of the show is really cool. But yeah, I was hoping for season 2 also. So
yeah, it's a very interesting world. Seeing all the different gods and goddesses, and it's very fun. Again, this is another one just like Grand Blue that has a lot of fantasy elements to it, and you just the fantasy nerd, the fantasy buff, and everyone just going, oh my god, fantasy! Oh, look at the dungeons and swords and magical things. This is great, freaking awesome. But then you're reliving that same thing and the feeling that you were having before of, oh, what's gonna happen? You're like, what's gonna happen. Mm. You've seen it before. You've lived it before. So it's like, you're reading a book all over again. Just sometimes it's parts you just don't remember.
Yeah.
So
yeah. It's okay. Yeah.
And it's really cool because even the girl pointed out later on that the headphones that he uses are actually noise canceling headphones.
Yeah.
He should not be able to.
Working together on these manga, and they don't know that they're actually brother and sister. And the way that they find out was super cool.